This is the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. I'm Oisin Langan, coming to you on Saturday rather than Friday. We had a bit of a technical hiccup, but I'm sure you'll forgive us. It is only our second week. Coming up, Mark Rossiter on Sligo Rovers 3-2 win away to UCD. Ruaidhrí Higgins talked to Drive 105 after their 2-0 victory against Cork City. We'll get to hear that conversation. They're emphasising the importance of their home form this year, and that is something that Higgins spoke about after the game. St. Pat's overcame Shelbourne by 1-0. Damien Duff not happy after the game. His team probably did deserve something out of the match. We'll hear from him. We'll also get the analysis of Keith Treacy, and we chat with goalscorer Eoin Doyle. Now, interestingly, at that match was the same person from Hull who's looking potentially at working with and investing in Dundalk. Apparently they're also looking at Shels, and according to Neil O'Riordan in the Irish Sun, had looked at St. Pat's, but Pat's aren't interested. They probably don't need the investment. They've got a good owner, in fairness to them, Pats. Drogheda United held Shamrock Rovers to a 1-1 draw. Macdara Ferris was at that. He'll tell us all about it. And in what I'll call the feature match of last night, you can argue with me as to whether or not you think that's correct, but that's what I'll call it. The feature match of last night. Bohs overcoming Dundalk by 2-1. Coming up, Ronan McNamara chatting to Stephen O'Donnell, the Dundalk manager, about the performance, but also the potential new investment. First though, Owen Heary, formerly of Bohs, was at the match and left us this voice note.
Hi Oisin, absolute fantastic win for Bohs. Defensively very, very solid. Great counter-attacking play as well. Dundalk, for that matter, nice little interchange in the midfield and in around the box, but didn't really create anything. First half, just before half time, Bohs got a free kick, right hand corner of the box. Flores steps up, absolute buries the top left hand corner. Keeper, no chance. Second half, Dundalk get a corner. Bohs defend the corner, press up the pitch, win the ball back high, counter attack. McDade, nice little touch and great finish from just outside the box. Then Dundalk get a late consolation goal. Their only real effort on target for the night. Coco, nice little touch and great finish into the left hand corner of the goal. Other than that, great performance. Another great performance for Bohs. Top of the table.
Owen Heary at Dalymount Park watching his beloved Bohs overcome Dundalk by 2-1. Let's hear now from Dundalk manager Stephen O'Donnell on the stories about the potential new owners or investors or whatever you want to call them. But first, he gave his thoughts on the performance itself.
Yeah, we started the game well. I thought we started the game really well. I thought we had the better passages in the first half. Both sort of played off turnovers and a little bit on the counter. They got a few set pieces. We dealt with them well. I don't think there was a big chance in the first half, and then we give up a silly foul on the edge of the box just before half time. Win 1-0 down. Second half started bitty. We couldn't really get a foothold of the game. Then I thought we were in total dominance of the game. When we gave up the second goal, we were obviously pressing with a set piece. The ball came back. We probably should have recycled it, and we just gave up an inexcusable goal. We go 2-0 down. We reacted well to it. Went a bit more obviously offensive with the substitutions. Took a little bit more risk. Got a goal back, and then we just couldn't get that gilt-edged chance that we were looking for. But I saw a lot of positive things there tonight going forward, and we just need to from an individual and a collective standpoint, just stamp out the sloppy bits. But I saw enough there to give me a lot of hope and a lot of excitement going forward. As I say, we just need to get as cohesive and gel individually and collectively as quick as possible. But it will take time. We've had a big turnover in our squad from last season to this season, so it will take time. But we're enjoying that part of it as well, building communication, building understanding, and a team aspect. And we look forward to a busy week next Friday, Monday, Friday. So we have a lot of good options. And as I said, we're going to enjoy the challenge of building relationships individually and collectively with each other.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on the potential takeover. I know there's rumoured buyout from Hull City. Is that a good thing for the club, bad thing?
Yeah, look, it's not in my remit. I don't know anything about it, to be honest with you. But what I do, I have full trust in the owners, current owners that are at the club. They'll do what they see is best by the club. But with regards our focus or that or me, I'm just to play inside. The players play inside, coaching or they play inside, and it doesn't affect us, you know. And as I said, it's not my remit, but I do have full faith in the owners doing what's best for the football club.
I'm sure it's something you want to get cleared up as soon as possible and just focus on what's going on the pitch, especially the fans as well. Probably want to say.
Yeah, well, from a fan side point of view, of course, they're obviously wanting to know what's going to be the outcome or what's happening. But from our point of view, it doesn't really affect us day to day. We've enough to concentrate on from a football side of it, so it actually doesn't really make a difference to the playing side. I haven't heard one of the players talk about it. We haven't even addressed it. It's a non-issue with us in that regard. Full focus is on just the training ground and the football pitch.
Dundalk manager Stephen O'Donnell speaking to the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Ronan McNamara at Dalymount Park for us. Still to come, Keith Treacy on where he thinks Shels are at this season. We'll also hear from Owen Doyle and Damien Duff, as well as Mark Rossiter. Before that though, bit of a crazy game at Weaver Park. Drogheda 1-1 with Shamrock Rovers. Macdara Ferris of extratime.com was there and he left us this voice note.
Just like last week, ill discipline cost the Hoops. They had led 1-0 going late into the game in Sligo Rovers after Pico Lopez was sent off. And this time around they were leading once again 1-0, this time thanks to another Graham Burke goal. But incredibly, they had to play out the last 10 minutes of this match with just 9 men. Lee Grace picked up his second yellow card in the 72nd minute, and then 8 minutes later Rovers were down to 9 men. Dan Cleary incredibly picked up 2 yellow cards in just 2 minutes, and ultimately that proved very costly for the champions. Kevin Doherty's side piled on the pressure, laid out a series of corners, a series of crosses. The Hoops looked like they were going to hang on for the win, their first of the season, but one of the crosses came out to Ryan Brennan out towards the edge of the box, and against his former club he hit a sweet shot that beat Alan Manus with a minute to go. Incredibly, United really should have got the win. 94th minute of the match, Dylan Grimes, who come off the bench, had a golden chance at the back post, but somehow he couldn't turn it home, and it meant the match finished with a draw. Drogheda United pick up their second point of the season after their scoreless draw in Tolka Park last week. It finished here in Weavers Park. Drogheda United 1, Shamrock Rovers 1.
Macdara Ferris for the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Still to come, Mark Rossiter on Sligo Rovers 3-2 win against UCD, and we'll hear from Ruaidhrí Higgins following their 2-0 win over Cork City. Before all that though, let's get some reaction from Richmond Park. Shelbourne losing 1-0 against St. Pat's. Owen Doyle scoring the only goal of the game. Owen Doyle to come, along with the analysis of Keith Treacy. But first, here is Shels boss Damien Duff, and after the game, when I chatted to him for LOI TV, you can watch this interview by the way on the FAI social media channels, I put it to him that perhaps they were unlucky and should be disappointed not to have taken something from the game.
I think the answer's in your question. Not much between the teams, and the first half and the second half, for anyone here is brutally honest, I think it looked like there was only one team going to win it, us. But here, another set piece. We gave away a lot of goals last season, and another one tonight. It's cost us. The lads are down. They'll have to pick themselves up because there's 2 games in 3 days coming next weekend, but every single one of them were outstanding.
I know football is about results, but do you take solace, and do the lads take solace from the performance, knowing that if you repeat that throughout the season, you'll be all right?
Well, listen, you have to. Of course, it's about results. Like I said in there, a better team, but does that put points on the board? No, you have to see out these games or maybe nick it down the far end. But of course, I've absolutely trust in the guys anyway. Like I've said many times, how much they improved as a team, even individually throughout the last season, and I'm sure the same is going to be this season. So no, it's the optimism is there more than ever.
Tonight you were missing Sean Boyd. Could that have been the difference? Maybe just that poacher out there, that goal scorer?
No, because I think it disrespects the people that played. I thought Evan Caffrey was absolutely outstanding. He's played 6, 8, 10 throughout his career. I think he's played through the middle as a 9, maybe once or twice, but I was just thinking outside the box during the week, and he was absolutely brilliant. So listen, Boydie would be a big miss. He'd be out for the foreseeable. Amazing presence, personality, quality, but Evan's come in for him tonight and done absolutely outstanding.
Thanks, Damien.
Thank you.
This is the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and I'm joined by Owen Doyle, the goal scorer for St. Pat's tonight. Owen, it is not by coincidence or accident you knew where to be and when to be there to score that goal.
Yeah, maybe it's a habit of a lifetime. Obviously Vlad put in the corner, I made a dart front post and it went over me, so it's just about reacting for hopefully a second ball, and fortunately it landed and I was able to slot it home.
At that stage of the game, when it's 0-0 against a team who are sitting deep, is it just a matter of trying to get the ball into the box and hoping a break like that will come? Is it kind of is it planned chaos, if that makes sense?
Yeah, we worked hard on set pieces throughout the week. Obviously, I wouldn't say it was the best game on the eye. There wasn't many chances either end. No, either keeper wasn't really tested. So if there was going to be a goal, I think it was going to come from something like that. And it's good that we're after scoring for 2 set pieces in the opening games, especially when things aren't going your way, kind of in your patterns of play, etc. If you can rely on your set pieces to try and nick a goal or a win or even get a point like last week, it's very important.
How important is it at this stage of the season to be patient? Because there was times there tonight where the fans were kind of a little bit restless when it was tough for you to break down Shels, and I think maybe early in the season, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, players, they haven't quite gelled yet, the team hasn't quite come together yet, and that takes time. So is that something you have to work on, or does that just come through games?
Yeah, we're obviously still in the settling period. I think the front three tonight haven't played together yet, so it's everyone's still getting used to each other and stuff. But it's going to be good. I think we've got a stronger squad than we did last year. I think we'll be more competitive than we were last year. And we've started well, 4 points from the opening 2 games. It's a good start to the season.
What do you like about the squad this year, with the additions of the likes of Noah Lewis and Jake Mulroney, who's a Pats fan actually, and a few others as well? Yeah,
obviously I think all the lads that came in have really strengthened us. I think Tommy's at the lead in the line very good now for the opening 2 games. He's going to be a proper handful. He'll have a great career. And obviously Jake, his pace and he's very dynamic, so he's going to be a very exciting player for us. And as you said, Noah, he's been a great find. Vlad in the middle, they've all came in, settled really well, and everyone's still getting used to each other, as I said. So it's exciting times for the club, I think.
After a game like that, do you have to give a particular amount of praise to Tommy, because he does such hard running, and as Keith Treacy said in commentary, he kind of softened them up for you?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, definitely. No, Tommy's a great kid, and he'll go on to have a great career. He listens when you try to give him advice and stuff, and it's great to see in a young lad. So I'm excited to see where his career takes him.
You're 35 next month. Safe to say there's more behind than ahead. So has your attitude to football changed? Are you still enjoying it as much? Where are you at with football?
Yeah, no, I still enjoy it. Yeah, as long as I can still contribute, I'll be here to help the lads out and try to get results. It's always obviously good coming on and being able to nick a goal. So no, I'm still enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you look like you're still enjoying it as well. And why wouldn't you? This place is rocking so far this year, isn't it? There was a great air of expectation leading into the season, and that has been matched on and off the pitch.
Absolutely, yeah. Sure, I'm getting messages today, so the lads looking for tickets and stuff, so they weren't able to get them because they were sold out. So it's been great, honestly. There's a real buzz around the place. 2 home games to start us off, and they've packed it out, and they're noisy, and it's great. It's probably the most intense stadium in the country when it's rocking, because the fans are very tight to the pitch and stuff, and the away fans are very tight to the goal down the end there, and it's been a good start. And like please God, we can turn this place into a bit of a fortress, because I think the club deserve it. They're coming in the numbers and they're loud. Yeah, we're buzzing to see the fans coming through the gates, and obviously you kind of play football to make fans happy. You want to hear them singing songs and singing their name if they can and stuff. So it's it does, it feeds in, and we're enjoying it, and thankfully we've been able to pay them back with the opening games, and long may it continue. Like, hopefully they keep coming through the gates and supporting us, because it's been great so far.
You can't play every game at home, unfortunately. The first 2, yes, but not next week. It's Dundalk away. It's a tough one.
Of course, a tough one. Yeah, there's a bit of history there between the clubs now, so it's a great atmosphere. I'm sure the fans will travel very well for us and support us up there. So I'll work hard all week. Looking forward to it.
And Sam Curtis, a young player, just before I let you go, he's only 17, but he doesn't look it on the pitch, and he doesn't mind the rough and tumble, does he?
No, it's his bread and butter. I'd say he's one of them kids, and he was younger, wanted to play in the muck all the time. He's one of them. A nightmare for the man, I'm sure, but he's great. He's years ahead of himself in his mind and how he plays, and he's an exciting talent. Yeah.
Owen Doyle of St. Pat's, thanks for joining us on the Extra Time League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast.
Man, Oisin, thank you.
This is the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Welcome back to Richmond Park. Keith Treacy, who was with me for this game, still here. Keith, I think the PA person knows exactly what they're doing. They're playing the Cranberries, Zombie. In your head, the lyrics, of course. I think they're kind of trolling the Shels fans, who, as we record, are still standing off to our left at the shed end, having seen their team beaten 1-0. Owen Doyle with the only goal of the game. But can Shels feel a little bit unfortunate not to get something out of the game?
I think so. I'm sure that's what Damien Duff will be saying in the Shelbourne dressing room at the minute. They competed really, really well for large periods of the second half. They were a better team. There wasn't an awful lot in it in the first half. It was nip and tuck, very, very scrappy in the middle of the pitch. But yeah, I'm with you. I thought Shelbourne were a better team, put an awful lot of good quality into the box. When Ledwich come on at left wing back, injected some real tempo and pace down that side. But Pat stead in the game, although they weren't overly good, didn't really, impress in any way, shape or form. They stuck around in the game just like they did against Derry, and they got their just rewards. A decent set piece ball into the box from Drogheda, and Owen Doyle doing what Owen Doyle does, staying on the move in the box, and a very, very capable finish.
Let's give Tim Clancy credit, because he made switches again in this game, and again they worked.
Yeah, he did. He made a couple of little tactical changes. The Owen Doyle for Lonergan was one that we were thinking would happen, because Lonergan, he's doing his best up there, he's trying his best, he's running around, he's getting involved in the physical battle, but Owen Doyle is just a little bit clever in his movement. He's not as quick as Lonergan, but he sees things that little bit earlier, and like you say, when you see him in the move in the box for the goal, these are just maturity in his play. And Owen Doyle, a super player, big fan of his. And yeah, you could probably make a case for the two of them starting up front together, especially when Shelbourne had a 5, but I think Tim Clancy played it perfectly. Lonergan went out, roughed up the 3 centre halves for Shelbourne, and then Doyle come on with his little bit of class and got his just rewards in the end.
It's a pretty thankless job for Lonergan though, isn't it?
It is, yeah, but this is what you have to do at the League of Ireland level. Sometimes you've got to go out, you've got to compete, just battle for it, and just hope that something will drop you in the end. I know it doesn't drop for Lonergan, it drops for Owen Doyle, but look, I'm sure Tim Clancy's in there telling Tom Lonergan it doesn't matter who scores the goals as long as we're winning the game, and that's what St. Pat's have managed to do.
For Shelbourne, disappointment tonight, obviously, but there's an awful lot of positives to take. They did create chances. Shane Farrell did well when he came in. Ledwich was excellent when he came in. Everin Caffrey led the line at times very well this evening. And Cian Levy, who's a young kid, I'm not sure if he's on loan from Reading or if he's just joined from Reading, but either way, he looks sprightly. He looked like he could cause real issues for defences this season. Yeah, it looks like Damien Duff again has picked a couple of decent players out of anywhere. I don't know where they're all coming from, but there's some really, really decent players. Some of the set pieces that Evan Caffrey puts in, dead ball situations, is really, really good. Look, we all know what we're getting from Shelbourne. It's very, very hard to break them down. And you see that it's not just a defensive masterclass. They do defend really, really well, but when they get the chance to go and hurt you, they do it. And with Matty Smith up front, Shane Farrell, and let's not forget that Sean Boyd has to come back into this team as well, which I think could just be the teeth in the attacking sense that Shelbourne need. You said before the game that you think Shelbourne overachieved last season, both in the league and the cup. From what you've seen tonight, having had a good look at them up close for the first time this season, are you standing by that? I am standing by it. I do think they overachieved last season, but I'm sure Damien... Sorry, what I should say, my question was kind of muddled there. What I mean is do you think they can do better than they did last season on the evidence of what you've seen tonight and what some of those players showed? I think so, yeah. Obviously, I've seen the Drogheda game they played last week, played really well in the game, hit the post a couple of times, were lucky not to get at and out of it. And again, Damien Duff will be saying exactly the same. We've come to Richmond Park, we played really well, we've got nothing out of the game. So it's not something you want to keep saying as a manager, we played well, but we got nothing. But the signs are encouraging from Shelbourne. Losing away to St. Pat's to Drogheda is not something that's going to worry Damien Duff overly. They're playing well in the games, the chances are coming. And like I say, Sean Boyd is going to come back into this team at some point as well, and that will be the little bit of class they need in the final third. So yeah, I do think they can go better in terms of where they can finish in the league, but to try and match the FAI to get to another final would be huge. But look, staying in the league is Damien Duff's number one thing. And just before I let you go, St. Pat's tonight needed a break and they got one. Are you a little bit worried that they'll struggle to break down teams who might take the Shelbourne template, or is it a case that this was the second game of the season and that once the St. Pat's players build that momentum and relationship and fluidity, they'll be fine, especially here? I think it's a bit of both, though, Shane. I think if you're an opposition manager and you're sitting here today watching that game, you could possibly think, yeah, there's a way to way and go and beat Pats, to play in a low block, to bring them onto you and then go and hurt them when they do overextend. Because there was a way for Shelbourne to win the game with the tactics they were playing. But look, I do think Tim Clancy will be, I wouldn't say happy, because they did give up a couple of chances from time to time, but he would have been happy. The tempo needs to be an awful lot better. But look, I do think Pats will get an awful lot better in the final third. They will move the ball a lot better, but I do think teams will come here and play a low block and try and frustrate and play for set pieces and stuff like that. So I do think Pats will see an awful lot more of this here at home. Keith, we were getting comfortable here in Richmond Park. 2 games in a row to start the season at home for St. Pat's. They're not at home next week. They're away from home in Dundalk. So don't come here out of force of habit. We'll actually concentrate on other teams that aren't St. Pat's next week. I'll actually be at the Derry Shamrock Rovers game in Tallaght Stadium, and we'll be back here in a couple of weeks because Keith and I, of course, are doing the commentary on LOI TV for St. Pat's this season. For now, Keith Treacy, thank you very much for joining us on the extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast.
Anytime, buddy.
Right, let's go from Richmond Park to the UCD Bowl. Mark Rossiter watching Sligo Rovers get a 3-2 win away to UCD. After the game, he sent us this voice note.
Finished 3-2 at the Belfield Bowl. Max Mata hat-trick. You would have had, it was Bishop. Bishop set up Nolan for the first goal. Bad pass back by Ina Clancy to McNicholas. Bishop ran round McNicholas and squared it to Alex Nolan, who finished. Then you would have had Max Mata cut inside too easily on Bowden. Finished really well. Bowden should have defended it better. Then coming into the second half, Rovers started well. And you would have had, it was long ball over the top from Jack Heaney to Bean. Wasn't defended right on that side by Ina Clancy or by Branna Falk, and gets in behind, square pass, and Bishop finishes it to make it 2-1. Then it was the tale of two penalties. So you would have had a shot. Fabrice Hartman cut inside, hit a shot, defender coming out, hand away from a body. You could see from the stand that it was, and it was a pen given. Max Mata crosses body, squares it into the corner, 2-2 with 25 to go, and then happens again. Lovely little third man running, Reece Hutchinson going down, felt a pull. I think it was Gallagher who done it, and but you could see the arm out, pulled him by the shoulder, brought him down. Max Mata hat-trick. Taylor 3-2 to Rovers. Great start to the season, 4 points from 6. Yeah, and that was it. You know, Sligo in the ascendancy for most of the game, controlled it, looked suspect on the counter-attack. Alex Nolan, very, very good. But, you know, Sligo managed to get the 3 points and they'll go home happy.
Thank you very much, Mark. Right, let's go from the UCD Bowl up to the Ryan McBride Brandywell Derry 2-0 winners against Cork City. Patrick McElhenney and Jordan McAniff with the goals for Derry City. After the game, Ruaidhrí Higgins, the Candy Stripes boss, spoke to Drive 105.
Ruaidhrí first home game of the season, 2-0 won. You must be delighted with that.
Really happy. Clean sheet, 2 good goals, 2 midfield players getting on the score sheet, and we weren't brilliant, but we had control for the majority of the game. Maybe coughed up 1 or 2 too many chances, but we'll get better as the season goes on, and the players deserve huge credit tonight.
I suppose the 2 goals, they come at a good time, Murray. She said Derry were in control of it, but the goal came around about the half-hour mark, and a piece of magic from club captain Patrick McElhenney.
And Patrick, he would be the first to tell you probably like to score more goals. I know we're playing him a bit deeper, but he's got that quality. He's one of the most talented footballers that's played in the League of Ireland for the last 20 or 30 years. There's no doubt about that. And he's produced a piece of class when we needed him to, and that's what he's about. He's a big game player, and he knows how to win football matches.
You're also a fan, listening to your interviews the last couple of weeks, where you're also a fan of Jordan McAniff, and he popped up tonight again. That's 2-2, and even he scored the last goal of the season and the first 2 this season, so he's off to a flyer himself.
Hi, Jordan's had a really difficult few years in his life and career, so all Jordan needed was to stay clear of injury, because the talent, the athleticism is all there, and he's got that energy to get in the box. He can get from box to box at lightning pace, and he's a really good footballer, so we're delighted that he's getting on the score sheet, and he deserves huge credit for the way he stuck at it over the last few years, and comes from a good family, good people looking after him, and he deserves so much credit.
There's a real sense of depth about the squad this season, Murray, and Ben Doherty getting 90 minutes and Patrick McElhenney coming on. I mean, you started him from the bench last week, and him getting 90 minutes, and this is good for the big game next week against Rovers.
It's really good. Patrick was excellent in the game. Ben Doherty was excellent. But you're right, I think we do have, there's no doubt about it, we have key personnel missing, but I think the depth we have in the squad now, we're much more able to cope with it, and I think tonight was evidence of that.
Suppose the clean sheet tonight, Brian Maher did make some quality saves tonight.
Brian made a few good saves, a few too many for my liking, but Cork are a direct team. They put the ball in your box. They've they had real size over us. They were bigger than us. They were flicking it on and picking up seconds and getting shots off. It wasn't through cutting us open. It was more direct and landing on second balls. But we need to deal with the first header maybe a bit better at times. But we've got a clean sheet. That's what Brian's there for. He's an outstanding young goalkeeper, and he played well tonight. But so did everybody.
And then looking forward to next week, Shamrock Rovers, where that one, I suppose it's 4 points from 6, and that was important. Get on to next week's game.
Really important. I think winning our home games, we're going to put a real emphasis on that this year. We didn't win enough at home last year, so we're off to a good start. And we've taken 3 points at home here against a difficult opposition, and we're delighted we move on now to next week.
This is the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, and that was Rory Higgins speaking to Drive 105 after Derry City's 2-0 win against Cork City. Let's just remind you of the results from last night. Sligo Rovers 3-2 winners against UCD, Derry City beating Cork City 2-0, St Pat's 1-0 victors against Shels, Bohs 2-1 winners against Dundalk, and Drogheda United 1, Shamrock Rovers 1. Next Friday night, it's Drogheda United against Sligo Rovers, Cork City up against UCD, Dundalk taking on St Patrick's Athletic. Wasn't it interesting to hear the St Pat striker Eoin Doyle refer to that as a bit of a rivalry? There's obviously still a bit of needle between those two clubs. Shelbourne take on Bohs in the Dublin Derby, and Shamrock Rovers are up against Derry City. Those games taking place next week. That Shamrock Rovers Derry City game, that's really big, isn't it? Let's take a look at what happened in the First Division last night. Cove Ramblers under Shane Keegan maintained their 100% start, beating Wexford by 2-1. Waterford drawing 1-1 at home to Longford. That would be seen as a bit of a surprise. Galway 1-0 winners against Treacy United. Athlone 3, Finn Harps 1, and Bray 3, Kerry 1. Those are the full-time scores there. The first goal in the First Division ever for Kerry being scored by Gaxa. It is a big day today in the Women's National League because it's the President's Cup. At 4 o'clock at Lone Town taking on Shelbourne. You'll be able to watch that game live on LOI TV. Of course, the league itself kicks off next Saturday at 2 o'clock. Shelbourne taking on Cork City at the same time. Galway United taking on Wexford U's. Do you consider them a new club? I'm not sure, but Galway United are all under the one umbrella before. Previously, the women's team would have been a different club, but now they're all the one, which is great to see. Treaty United at 5 o'clock taking on Bohs. At 5 o'clock also Sligo Rovers up against Shamrock Rovers, and at 7 o'clock Athlone meeting Peamount. Bohs making an interesting signing during the week. Mayo Gaelic footballer and Aussie rules player Sarah Rowe, who has played for Ireland in the past, signing for them. Many thought that in her bid to make the Irish World Cup squad she'd potentially head back to Shels. That hasn't happened. She is at Bohs. That's it for the second ExtraTime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. It took a while, but eventually we got one out. I'd love to hear from you to get your feedback, good, bad or indifferent, on @Oisin Langan. Don't forget Luke, who is much better at planning and doesn't suffer hiccups like I do. He's back with the ExtraTime.com League of Ireland podcasts during the week. They'll take a deep dive into everything that's going on and off the pitch in the league. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.